Hello everyone, welcome to Every Episode Reviews, and today we're looking at Erased, every episode in the anime that is still airing by the time I'm filming this. And I believe they're on like episode 8 when I'm recording this, something like that, and damn, this show is like the big show that's going on right now, and it's all hype and fucking everything. And I jotted some notes. They're over here. I forgot to grab them. First off, as far as like shows that like get all the hype, a lot of times they're over the top shows. There's the Attack on Titans and the Kill la Kill. So it was nice to see something like this where it's very psychological. It looks like it. I think it's like a psychological thriller. Again, this was the first episode, so this was just laying stuff. It was laying down the road for what was to come. So, and I've heard mixed reactions to the show, but again, I don't know all that much other than what my friend Matt from the Anime Blitz has told me. You can go to my main channel and you'll find links to his channel. We've also done a podcast together. Anyway, we got the main character. When I saw him, I was kind of just like, oh no, he's like a very cynical fucking asshole who, like, he's like, oh, I want to get my mind, he's conflicted about his mind escaping his brain, like, he wants to be in a relationship, like, somewhere inside him, you can tell he wants to be in a relationship, but at the same time, he said something about love is just, this fake mental chemicals BS bullshit. We've seen this character. I remember seeing Haruhi, the main dude in that. It's not like a super original character. That being said, this isn't a bad trope to go with. These characters, there's that part in everyone that, you know, maybe after a breakup or like some friends, you know, stop calling you or whatever, you start to feel like going solo is the best route, and like, because you don't technically need anyone, although that's also not true, but like, you can have a house, live by yourself, do your shit, and you can live a healthy lifestyle by yourself, and a happy one at that, and you can kind of be a cynical asshole like this guy. That being said, other people, this is a quick philosophy thing, you know, I remember living, for like 6 months, I moved away from, the place I'm living, you know, I moved away from all my friends and stuff like that, to take care of my grandma, or my grandpa with my mom, and basically that's the only company I had for like 6 months, other than like my cousins who would drop by, and you know, just that, gave me, and I went to like online school, so just that experience for like 6 months straight of just kind of living in a downstairs with no one to talk to kind of gave me a perspective from that world, and I don't recommend it. It's very lonely, and it's very, you do have the internet nowadays and you can share and you can get out there a different way, but you gotta have your close real life friends. You gotta have, and I don't mean real life, I kind of hate that phrase, but you gotta have people around you. And you gotta have family. That has nothing to do with this episode. That was just main character, his philosophies versus mine. I'm gonna fucking go all out with this shit. And I'm gonna do the first episode its own little video. You guys can tell me if I should do this or I shouldn't do this. Whatever. Basically, first thing, we got the main character, Satoru, I believe his name is. He's driving down and then he notices something's wrong. At first I thought he went through the same daily bullshit so much that the one thing out of place he notices. But no, one of the guys driving a truck died. I thought he was just sleeping, but no, he died while driving. He had a heart attack. He got death noted. And he's just driving, and, you know, he's about to run over this kid. So the Satoru just kind of gets in there, because Japanese cars, the wheels on the wrong side, he's able to just swerve it. It still killed people, but he saved that kid. And he collided into a car and lived. So yeah, that was crazy stuff already right there. And when he's in the hospital, this girl comes to him. We learn later that this is his coworker, friend. Probably the only person he has, because he said he doesn't want to call a friend or a girlfriend or anything. So you know that they have a connection, but they're not like super close. She just made sure he was alive, basically. And again, we have this narcissistic asshole with this really bubbly contrast, and I enjoy that. It's not a bad mix. I like that. Hopefully the girl gets more character or more personality than, oh, I'm bubbly and I have energy. But then where I really started to get invested was when Satoru's mom comes over, and her lips are drawn kind of weird, but it's whatever. The second these two start talking, you know their relationship so well, because she's like, hey, I heard you got hit by a car. I'm gonna spend the next couple days over. So she cares. She's doing her job as a mom, but at the same time, and she knows he's alright, so she isn't going to concern herself, but at the same time, a mom, 99% of the time, the mom would have been like, oh my god, are you okay? Like, I've seen relationships like this, and so I don't think I've seen it projected in media all that much, so I really enjoy that. And then it's so subtle, right? It's I would like to think just excellently, like, just these little beats that they gave, and they really met them. And there's this weird editing thing that they do where it gets really intense really fast. Like the screen gets right, it's like and I don't know, at first I thought it was part of this flashback, but then it happened later. It was this weird butterfly thing. I'm sure we'll learn about that later. Satoru at one point gets a flashback, and you start to realize some things about his childhood. It's not like explained in depth, it's not some shitty exposition. It's just some imagery, and you get a couple scenes. Basically, when he was a kid, there was this older dude, I think his name was Yuki, and right away I was like, this guy's a rapist. And basically, there was a girl or some other people who got murdered and kidnapped by this rapist guy, and this Yuki guy got blamed, even though Satoru claimed he wasn't. And Satoru obviously apparently has psychic powers, because we understand that by the first episode. He has this sort of psyche that tells when something's wrong, because this started to happen again, and this rapist guy came back, and he was about to abduct this girl, and Satoru, his spider senses tingled, and his mom saw it, and then the guy was like, oh shit, people are looking at me, skedaddled. And some other things to note: the main character has a dream. He wants to be a manga artist, has given up on it, but you can see it's still there, and he had a very there's something there. I think they're gonna do stuff with that. And you know, his mom commented on how the girl was waifu material. So, you know, we're building the world up here. We're building it up. Build me up. Why do you build me up? Build me up. And then the mom starts to put the pieces together, and she is like, I don't think Yuki did it. I think this is the thing. She put some shit together, and it was just a moment too late, because then she got stabbed. And I was jotting these notes right here with my pen, and then I look, like, I was just like real quick, and then look up, and I was like, oh my god. I was just, she was already like my favorite character. She just died. Damn. And at this point, you know, the killer walks by, Satoru, he grabs for his mom, his hand's all bloody. He's like, ah! And the police come in and they assume the worst. And then this is where it gets really weird. He has, I know he's supposed to be a kid throughout the series. The cover art, it's like a kid, but he's, you know, actually old. So he has this, what is it called? It's like a recollection, or it's like I forget what he called it, and revival, that's it, it's a revival, and he became a kid momentarily, and that's where the episode cuts off, and that's our first episode. Damn. You know, I was skeptical. I think I still am, because this could be just one of those shows that, you know, like a Lost, for example, where, you know, I haven't seen Lost, but like where story got really convoluted, and then they're just like, I don't fucking know. And I'm starting to see that a little bit. I think, or it could be, and we see this in anime where the ending is just not fulfilling. So I'm really scared. A lot of these shows, great starts, mediocre endings, and then it doesn't really live up to the title of great, amazing, like 10 out of 10 show. Like maybe like a Breaking Bad, because that had an ending. It like shows like Soul Eater or No Game No Life or Attack on Titan. People watch them, they're just like, is there an ending? Is there a better ending? Okay. So I'm skeptic mostly for the ending, but we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode, and yeah, I don't really do episode things, but I think I've done it once before, but I put them in like little parts. But you know, fuck it, right? Let me guys know what you think. If I should keep doing this, if I shouldn't. You decide. You're the fan base. You decide. Just let me know. And with that, I leave you. I forgot scores exist. That's right, I do scores. I'm gonna give this episode like a 4 out of 5. You know, just great episode. A lot of shit happened. Very fast-paced first episode, but you know, from what we got, I think, you know, it got me intrigued. So yeah. Okay, now on to episode 2. Hopefully I'll have an annotation or a link or something. That being said, see you then. Okay, I am officially invested 100% all the way. Yeah, erase. We got erased. Episode 2. Ugh. We got, in the opening, you know, I didn't realize this at first, but the idea of him going back in time is to save his mom. This little revival thing, you know, is what helped him, you know, do stuff before, but now it's doing that, but to a much bigger degree, and, you know, to save his mom. And, you know, I'm sure that would change his whole life. And the present was almost like this sad ending, so it's like, oh, a happy ending would just be a different life than that. One where his mom is hopefully alive. But, you know, he could die. There's a lot of things that could happen that could implicate that his mom lives. And you know, the good thing about second episodes in anime is you always got the openings, and you know, based off first time watching, it was good. I definitely don't think I'll mind watching it 11 more or 10 more times. But if I was completely binge watching this, and I'm binge watching a little bit right now, But if I was like binge watching the entire series, I feel like I'd definitely be skipping it by the end there. And I don't like doing that. Openings like Soul Eater, like, are just the first Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood openings, or those are just watch it every time, and I'm satisfied. And when he came home, or when he went into the classroom, he's just a kid. And if you're an adult, if you're in a kid's body, you gotta act like a kid. Like, you're forced to kind of be a kid. Like, even if you're 29, you're still gonna be like, oh, where the fuck do I sit? Like, and that's the situation that kids face. And we associate that with youth. If you're in a classroom and got a bunch of adults and every seat's taken and there's like 3 of them, he's supposed to be sitting in one of them, he's gonna be like, where do I sit? Which is great. And then he runs home, which is like, it's one of those childhood things where you just like, you feel so trapped at school, but you can leave. Like, he just fucking left school, and yeah, so it's like he's an adult at the same time, so it's kind of funny. After that, he sees his mom, and it's a very just heartwarming moment. She just asks, what do you want for dinner? And she's cool with him skipping school, I guess. So I really like his mom, even though at this point she's just gonna be a mom. But she's a cool mom, and she's like kind of real with him. But it's like he's like a 4th grader or something. What can she do? Like, that's gonna be like how they were when he was 29. Other than that, we finally get the girl character where he sees her while he's running home from school, but then he realizes, oh, that's the girl that started all this with her death. And she has a bruise on her leg, so we assume she getting beaten. He said that her mom was doing it. I don't know if that's the complete story, but we'll get to that when we come to it. My hair is fucking awful. So we're just kind of introduced to her a little bit. He talks to her briefly, and then there's this smart kid. He has like these 4 friends, and there's this smart kid. I like got a theory. Is he in a revival too? Because he's smarter than everyone else. This isn't how 4th graders talk. So they have a little exchange. I love the fact that everyone's playing like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. That's just awesome. I actually really just enjoy that fact. Before my time, I wish you could have been there. I haven't played fucking any of those games. I want to. But we finally have a real conversation with this girl at the end of the episode, and basically what happens is he talks to her, and he gives her that wonderful invitation to his birthday party. I love that. But she's kind of like this preteen angsty, very gratified due to her situation. Where she's like, oh, I'm faking my happiness. I'm like, you're not. You don't seem very happy. At which every person who's like sad and mopey, they're, oh, I'm just faking all of my happiness. I'm like, you never seem happy. And then I'm pretty sure when the brief moments you are happy, you're actually happy. I doubt there's no one who's unhappy 100% of the time. Even if you have a shitty life, if it gets better just a little bit, that's a happiness because it's a release. It's escapism. So her philosophy is a 4th grader's philosophy. But I think it's a good contrast because we had before where he was the cynical asshole and the bubbly girl. Now we have the young, like, lighthearted kid and the opposite. And it's so different because we know he's just this 29-year-old dude. And I already have this theory that he is like kind of trapped, like watching himself, like he's forced to feel like a child, like I don't know, because just watching this episode and watching him as a kid, I don't feel like he's acting. Like, I feel like there's a part of him as a child that's like alive and still just doing his thing. You know, he's influenced by the 29-year-old dude. Like when he got like embarrassed, I assume that the childhood him is somewhere in there, you know, acting natural. I mean, even though his life is, you know, taken back and he has the mind, he's still there has to be something left of that kid. He can't just get wiped. Like he has to still have those hormones and certain things or whatever that would be associated with that child. That just a little theory I had. And after that, he said something to the girl and she just went like running away. Very cheesy, but very good. And that's where our episode ends. And damn, this is where the actual. I never judge a series by the first episode. Never do. Because people usually have that 3-episode rule. The first episode introduced everything, but this is where we actually the story. The concept that was brought is now in full effect, and it is so interesting, and I love it. And you know, it wasn't as super fast paced as the first episode, so you could actually get invested and enjoy it. I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 5. It was another great episode. Like I'm completely like invested in these characters. After watching the last anime I watched where I was like, who is it named who? I'm just like, oh yeah, Satoru. I like the characters, they're actually interesting, the story's actually going somewhere. Feels good. Feels good to watch a good anime again. That being said, I'll see you guys for episode 3. Score. Oh yeah, I already gave it. I'm fucking stupid. On to episode 3. Later. Erased episode 3. I already forgot my notes. Why do I keep forgetting my notes? No one wants to stare at an empty chair. Anyway, damn. Fun fact, like the episode that in in the original timeline, the day that what is her name? Heck, it started with an H. I forget. The main girl. Fuck, I know her name. I just heard it like 50 times. The day that she died is the current date, March 1st. Day I'm watching this, so it's always cool when you see that in media when the date aligns up, but whatever. So episode opens off. Sato is in this like ice skate thing, I guess for gym class, and he's going side by side with this kid, and he's like, I'm 29, I'm not gonna, this little kid trains so hard at skating, I'm gonna let him win. So he lets the other kid win. The kid gets mad anyway, just for almost losing, and then he's like, then Satoru's like, this happened actually. I made the same mistake. So his memory, I don't know if that's being affected by the, just the timeline changing and, just everything that's happening, but we'll figure it out. And then we figure out that, basically, Satoru, he's trying to figure out the date she dies via her birthday, because he knows there's something there. She dies on March 1st, and both of their birthdays are March 2nd, so, heavy stuff. And then we finally get to meet that Yuki guy, and, it's a classic case of like simpleton, ignorant dude being just blamed for, diddling kids, and I don't want to say that. And I don't know exactly where his level of intelligence is, but he's not making it easy for himself. Just the way he's hanging out with him. He's like, hey, this is my friend, this little kid in elementary school. And he knows all the other elementary kids. And it's like, dude, you just can't be friends with 4th graders. It's just not, there are certain social cues you just gotta follow, After that, Satoru goes to the girl's house. Why am I forgetting her name? He goes to her house and he finds her in a state of being of where she has just been just I don't even, it was a hard thing to see. She was just abused, and I'm just I just don't feel comfortable. I'm getting like, just the images is like putting a chill down my body. Just I don't fucking, I'm so uncomfortable. Cause she's a little girl, and you actually just root for her, and she's probably, they're all great characters. The mom, him, even that like one smart kid. But just the main three, the mom, her, and Satoru, they're all great. I don't know which one's my favorite. Probably her. But she's got bruises and stuff, and the mom walks out. And at this point, I thought the mom would be decent enough to be like, "Oh, don't do it, get out of here, kid." But it's like, I keep forgetting that they're not seeing a 29-year-old. They're seeing this little fourth grader who once really, you'd be like, "Oh God, how did you get hurt?" And she makes the girl say she fell. And that hurt just as much as seeing her like that. And I got the chill fucking uncomfortableness again. Like the, And, we got a glimpse of her dad. I know that's kind of like the first person you go to, like, oh, the dad did it, or I'm watching my boy Anime Blitz over there on the telly, and his suspect was the teacher. I don't really think about that stuff when I'm binge watching, so I don't make theories. But since I'm thinking about it, the teacher isn't a bad guess. Again, her father. That's too easy though. Maybe it can't be Yuki. It just can't. Plus, I'm pretty sure he was in prison, right, when his mom died. So I don't think it can be him. I have no idea. That being said, episode keeps going. The fucking family, I hate them. The teacher, when he goes up to the teacher saying, "Oh, she's being beaten," he's like, "I know, we've been working on it." And he's like, "Oh, we've known since May, we don't have enough evidence, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, bro, she's getting beaten. What the fuck do you mean? You get your ass on this. Like, he's taking this lightly or something. And so that's why I do think, yeah, that's not a bad guess. Like, she's coming to fucking school with bruises. What do you mean? One bruise is all it needs. It's all it takes for you to be super concerned. But yeah, anyway, we got there's this one scene where I fucking hate little kids. Basically, little kids are such fucking assholes. They really are. They don't have empathy at all. Basically, a little girl took some lunch money or bullshit and planted it on her. I don't know. It was kind of a dumb scene, but it also showed, the level that Satoru was defending her in class, and it showed maybe this bully will come back and be a character. And just, she's getting picked on. She's like the abnormal one, even at school. And, why? I fucking hate just school. It would have been a much better place if kids weren't kids and people, just talk to them and, a teacher just introduce them to each other. Just do something. Don't just let that kid be the odd one out. And the episode ends with her, the girl and Satoru. He takes her to this one area he went to as a kid, and these foxes came, and it was real beautiful. A big Christmas tree, however they said it in their wonderful accents. very emotional moment. On the Crunchyroll comments, there was just this note of like, oh, when she smiled. And yeah, it was very, just, a really just warm-hearted moment. And I am in love with this show. I just want the ending to be good. Please let the ending be good. Let the ending be good, please, please. I'm begging you, 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 I'm begging you. Because it's so good so far. I honestly think we'll get a good ending. I'm hopeful, at least. That being said, I'll give this episode... I almost want to re-give my episode 5s. Because I think I'll go with a 5 for this one, even though it's the same level of quality as the other ones. But the other ones, now that I have more of a perspective, I would give it a 5. For the first 2. That being said, thank you for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next episode. Laters. Alright, we got Erased. What was this, episode 4? Yeah, it was episode 4. And I got a couple hours before work, so I think I might just marathon a couple episodes. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing the bullet point thing. No bullet points for this episode, because I just wanted to watch the show. And enjoy it without having to scribble. So, I love how the premise of the show has shifted from saving his mom, but it's not that at all anymore. It's about saving this little girl. But via saving this girl, saving his mom. And the two are more or less together. They're obviously not going to kiss because he's 29 and that'd be gross, but my hope is the future will change into a world where she's alive and they're together. So, that is my hope. In this episode, it was such a happy episode. March 1st rolls around, and, there's renters underneath. March 1st rolls around, and there's not much he can do other than be really careful with her, and, not let her go to the park. And she doesn't. She survives March 1st. They have their birthday parties. It's a very touching moment that made me feel so good inside. And just the music was like, just extravagant. He's doing a lot of the same though. Even like little things like taking her on a date. It's like, oh, she would have gone there anyways. And they would have had a conversation anyway. That's more or less the same conversation. In the end, I was so happy. I was like, this episode might just be this one little happy thing, or it's gonna turn south by the end. And when they had that little promise thing, I was like, please just show up the next day. She didn't show up the next day, and we assume she's missing. Right when they pretty much started dating, grabbed the hand and all that. So she was at home making the present, so I assume it's her dad or something, because otherwise she would have had to gone to the park to make it or something. But I assume it's someone in her family. Other than that, maybe the other girl. There's that Kenya dude, but these are 4th graders. Come on. There's the teacher. He could have swung by the house to check up on her, and maybe they're doing, I don't know. I have no idea who it is. I will say, just very good episode. I hope she's not going to be gone till like episode 11 or something. Cause she's so cool, When he gave her the mittens, my heart just swam with joy. I was like, he gave her the mittens. The little 4th grader love. It's so cute. That being said, I'm gonna give this episode 5 out of 5. I don't know. Whichever. Somewhere between that. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I have to keep watching. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Have a good one. Alright, we have Erased episode 6. Oh my god. Okay, first off, we get launched back into the present. We see Kaio's mom. She throws away the mittens, and it's just the heart, just a punch to the gut right there. Then we're back into the present, and there's a big difference between the past and the present. Just the animation, everything's a little bit more just round and happy, whereas in the present everything's like, it's in a city and things are sharper, and it's just, and even just how they drew Satoru's mom between the two, it's like slightly more different. There's a plane going over me. I almost want to wait till it's gone. There's a plane or a helicopter or something. We dive further into the episode and we meet, well, basically the exact same thing has happened, where Kaio unfortunately was murdered by the killer. Same thing happened with the mom. And then in the end, Satoru touched, still touched to hand all bloody. He's the culprit again, but it's slightly different now. The dates have changed and all that, so he can prove that he can change the past. And hopefully he gets another try, which is what I'm going to assume is going to happen. I'm not sure when it's going to take him. But the other character from episode 1, who I was like, man, I don't know what's happening with her. But basically, she gets reintroduced, and I was a little bit worried. I was like, what if, like, this character, this girl, Caillou, has to die no matter what? Then we have this alternative romance character for Satoru to go to, but luckily I learned in this episode she's only like 17, so I was like, okay, they're not going to be together. We can get that romance that we want, the real one, when they're both all grown up and it's not weird. We're gonna hopefully get that. So she doesn't believe that he's a killer, so she takes him in. He's escaping from the police, and then the big thing is, in this episode, she dies. Yep, the killer just fucking hates Satoru and wants to end everyone close to him. I don't know if he assumed he was in that house still and tried to kill him. I have no idea. But all the female characters in this show are dead. We got, I believe her name is pronounced Ari or Ari. She, the house was on fire and she got knocked out. Like there's, in the opening segment it shows all three together and they all just, so Satoru has got his work cut out for him. He needs to go back in time and fix this shit. If you're wondering why there's a leopard blanket covering my windows, the windows leave a bad glare on my TV. So I kind of got to put that up so it looks halfway decent. So yeah, very, very intense episode. I might watch one more. I believe this was episode 5, right? Yeah. Gonna give it another 4 or 5 out of 10. I kind of just want to get back into the past again, like right away, because I like that better. It just feels, I don't know, I just like it better. And I don't like older Satoru, but I assume if he changes the past, that's gonna change him, or at least he'll adapt to the new world and he won't be a dick. So that's my hope. That being said, thank you for watching. On to episode 6. My heart. Empty. Depression. I love how we went from like episode 4 4 was it? Where I was just so happy, and now we're here where I'm just like rock bottom. Again, no bullet points. We got Satoru. He's escaping from the police. He gets help from his mom's friend. He just on the run. We got Ari out of a fiery house. I thought she was just dead. So I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. Pizza Girl is alive. Thankfully. And the episode progresses from there. And, there's we're starting to get details about the killer. I still have no idea who it is. I know that they can they might be on the suspect list, and they might go to a pizza place and have access there. So it could be the pizza manager, because he seemed kind of weird. And at one point, Satoru, he meets these kids and he helps them. He knows the trick was this kite thing, and he helps them, and he gets some bad looks from the parents, and it gives his perspective of how Yuki was treated. Just hanging out with a kid, you're gonna get looked at. And although that's unfortunate, it's a necessary thing, I think. It comes from a real place. It's a real safety thing. So, although that's it also, well, can't really do much about that. It comes from a real fear. And episode ends, he meets up with Pizza Girl, she gets followed, and he gets arrested. And I think that butterfly that flew by meant that he is about to go back in time again. Because I need to get back to him being a child so I can just escape this evil world where everyone's dead or dying and police. I don't like it. I just want him to be a kid again. So yeah, this episode didn't like it as much as the other ones, but still really liked it. Like 4 out of 5. I'm very pumped for episode 7. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. I do not know. That being said, thank you for watching as always. And with that, I leave you. These cliffhanger endings. Oh my god. We got erased. Episode 7. They have like an episode 6.5. It's a recap. I didn't feel like looking at it. So episode 7, we got the revival, and he basically says this is my final revival. Kind of more telling the audience, if anything, breaking the fourth wall, maybe a teeny bit. So at this point, he's like, whatever the fuck I can do to change things. He's throwing, he's getting the police just in the area. He's not even letting her go home. He almost killed her mom. Holy shit. Holy shit. He's trying to make Yuki not be a suspect, and he's trying to even tell people his mom. He's just kind of alluding hey, just don't do this or remember this. And that's what I think he should have been doing from the beginning. But I think he's I'm pretty good so far. So it felt good to be back in the past, where things are happy, more or less. And his friend Kai, or whatever his name is, Kenya, he basically recruits him. He tells him kind of what's going on. He tells him that the girl was going to be murdered, and so he's asking for help. And I'm 50% that it's the teacher, and I'm 50% that it's Kenya. And when I say it's Kenya, I don't think, maybe he has his own revival thing going on, right? That's my assumption, and that's why maybe, I don't know, that's the only other thing I could think about that. If not, it's the teacher. It's really making it hard. Just great episode, and we got that cliffhanger at the end where the doors open. So, unless they were followed, or spotted, or it's Kenya, that's the only really options. And I think it's either the kid or the teacher. That's who I'm going with. That's the only person I can think of. They teased that it might be Yuki, but then I was like, no, they're good. So, I don't know. Another 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, whatever. Point is, it's amazing. I'm loving it. So with that being said, guys, I will see you on episode 8, which I'm gonna watch right now. I'll see you then. Alright. Erased. I'm officially caught up, unless you want to count Crunchyroll Premium, which I do not have, so I'm all caught up. It's so sad. Oh god. And we had another cliffhanger. Those are always fun. This is episode 8 of Erased. I am I'm loving the series. This was probably one of the more lackluster episodes. I didn't like at the beginning of the episode the killer walks into the bus, just kicks a box, and then leaves. And it does kind of explain that. They just happen to hang out where the killer also does his evil planning, I guess. Why not? And then, once they discover that, they take, well, first, Satoru realizes, oh, the killings are still happening because, something about one of the other girls who was murdered, like, is, like, still, I don't know, it's sketchy with her. So Satoru and the gang, they move the base to Satoru's house, and Satoru's mom, she's coolest mom ever. Again, like, it's Satoru, and then Satoru's mom, and then Kaya, and they're all really great characters, and I love all of them. And the great characters to me are the ones that I like. Oh, I root for you. You're awesome, and I just every time I see you, I'm just like, yeah. And then, but I'm not let down, and that's how I am with these three. There was a weird scene at Satoru's house with the bathroom, and obviously Japan, very different culture. That's not even acceptable where I'm from. But and it turned a little bit weird. I just didn't. There was no point to it. I just really didn't like it. So there's that. Other than that, the episode continues. They go to Kaya's house, all three of them, and they kind of confront her mom, and that's where the episode ends. And also, Satoru's mom has a conversation with the teacher, who then makes another call. I am starting, again, I have the teacher, and then I have Kenya. Those are my choices. It could be like certain stories like Sword Art Online 2, or let's say The Hateful Eight, where I expected one character to be ooh, who is it? I thought it'd be like a one character thing. Instead, it might be like a group thing going on here, because there's so many sketchy variables. And usually when there's like all these variables, that's when I assume if it's only one person, I think they might be forcing someone else to help or something along those lines. Because there's so many little variables going on. Why is Kenya acting so weird? What is going on with this teacher? Yuki, he's his own thing. I think he's just gonna get ridden off. I honestly would be really surprised if they went with Yuki. I think I'm still kind of suspecting the mom's boyfriend. It's such a brain-racking thing. But that being said, I just don't know what to think anymore. My brain, and I'm so sad. We got we got 9, 10, 11, 12, so I might have to wait 2 weeks before I get the next two, because I want to watch them back to back, and then 2 weeks after that, and then I'll just get the last two right when they come out. I don't like watching one at a time. That's gonna drive me insane. So this is gonna be a break for a little while with me and Erased. I don't want it to end. It's so good. It's so good. I really enjoy it. That being said, thank you for watching. As always, take care, and I'll see you on the next episode. It's shorter for you, goddammit, because you're in my camera for a long time. That being said, oh yeah, scores. 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, I don't know. I'll see you on the next episode. Erased, episode 9. If my energy's off a little bit, it's because I'm very tired, and I apologize for that. But I think there's 2 episodes of Erased I still have yet to watch. And, I got some time before work, so I thought I'd catch up. So, episode 9, this episode, again, it begins with, the escalation that was in the last episode with Kaio's mom, and it's kind of like an intervention, and it really just deflates. The entire situation just completely deflates. It's almost made in a way that's like they're trying to just unescalate the situation. Like, oh, Kaio, she's gonna live with her grandma, who's suddenly introduced, and Kaio's mom is given like this kind of a little bit of a backstory, and she's kind of presented in a way that's kind of supposed to be a little more understanding. You know, she's a parent who beats her child, and normally those types of characters, or people even, are just people who take out their problems on the only people they can. And usually there's something wrong with them, and there's something causing that. So I didn't gain any pity for her by seeing that at all. I already kind of assumed something like that was going on. And we didn't understand anything with her boyfriend. Like, I guess, I don't know if he's still in the picture. And yeah, Kaio's mom, basically that just deflates. Kaio's off, and the story's continuing. I don't know how he's gonna undo this revival. I don't know if he has to solve each one of the. I think he basically just kind of has to stop the killer. That's the number one way his mom is going to survive. I think Kaio, I don't know if she's completely safe, but I would like to think she's safe, and we're just kind of working on Satoru's mom. I said Kaio's mom. And so there's that one girl, he's trying to protect her, and Hitomi, his friend, he's trying to protect him. And it's the teacher. It has to be the teacher. I watched the episode, and that candy situation, they wouldn't throw that in for no reason. They could throw it in to throw people off. No, it's the teacher. At the very most, he has an accomplice, and that would be Kenya or that girl. They kind of hinted at that towards the end of the episode. I really don't know. It's obviously not the girl, though, because we know it's a guy. Unless she had a sex change. But I really don't see. This show really wants you to keep guessing. And Satoru, he's being way too understanding. Like, when he sees all that candy, that doesn't go through his head. Like, he must. If it were realistic, he would assume that would be, that he would be a sketchy person, and he wouldn't trust the teacher as much. That being said, I don't even know. I'm gonna watch this other episode. I'm like 90% sure it's the teacher. I also, I almost want to confirm, like, I saw a spoiler and it depresses me. But we'll see if it comes out to be true or not. And Satoru, like, why? It's like he's still a kid. I feel like half the time I rewatched the first 3 episodes because I was showing them to my girlfriend. But basically, like, right when he revivals, he's like running, and it's like he's watching himself. So even though he's having influence to his childhood self, at the same time, it's like he's just like he's controlling him, but he's also just watching. So I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I'm about to watch this other episode, and that should be it. Thank you for watching. 4 out of 5. Fuck it. I'll see you then. It was the teacher. I feel so good just finally that off my chest. Again, YouTube fucking episode reviewers, don't put spoilers in your thumbnails, because basically I just saw Erased episode 10, and it was the teacher guy, and he was just looking fucking crazy, and I was like, oh, I guess he's obviously the killer. Small rant over. This episode, let's jump into it. Satoru is continuing his quest to find the serial murderer and first he assumes there's a like, since basically he stops the Hitomi and the other girl from, because basically they're never alone, and once that happens, he assumes, oh, the one girl who got isolated from the class is probably gonna be next. Her little thing doesn't get resolved. Hopefully by episode 12 she'll get friends again. She's just fucking a 5th grader. Like, I don't think by being a bitchy 5th grader you deserve no friends, but so we keep going throughout the episode, and the whole time I'm just like, the teacher, because he's been popping up a lot these past couple episodes, and once Satoru was in the car with him, I was like, this is it. Once he was alone and there was that seatbelt thing, once the seatbelt, I was like, yep, it's over. And sure enough it was. Some cheesy lines from the teacher. He was like, this is my true form. But he's fucking crazy. Like, everything we've seen of him so far is false. Like, he's a crazy ass dude underneath. He's been pretending this whole time, so he could be a dude that's like, this is my ultimate form. I am a lizard creature. We don't know. He could be anything. So the teacher, it gets a little bit, convoluted is not even the right word, but it gets a little forced, I guess, like with the cars that he has and just the way that he kills him. I mean, it's like, he kills him in a way, it's like, he takes Satoru, even though he does kind of reference like, oh, it's almost like you can see the future, I don't think he actually believes that. So it's like he's fighting his greatest rival or something. It really is, like, just the way he tried to kill him with the basketball in the car, and just the fact that he was like, oh, you getting me at every turn, and all this other stuff. I'm like, he's a 5th grader in your mind. Just shoot him, like, do something. Or just, like, throw him somewhere. Throw him off a building. Do something, like, it's not that hard. And Satoru, his reaction to all this was pretty fulfilling, like, just like how he basically just like, I should have seen this. I was just too trusting of this guy. And we did have a flashback where the teacher said something that really resonated with him. And since he said that, the teacher was probably just like, yeah, you might be able to see the future or something. And following that, Satoru, that whole philosophy the teacher mentioned was actually like this weird rapist murdering fulfillment fantasy, once it was spun on his head. And so Satoru, right when he goes into the water, he says, I know your future. And before that he was cursing. He was like, go to hell. So the teacher's probably just like, I don't know if he's gonna go back down there and be like, what? Because think if Satoru dies here, the teacher's gonna have that on his mind. What did he mean? What did he mean? So I don't know. I know it like showed Satoru's mom for a second. For a second, I was like, oh, he's gonna go save her. Either what's gonna happen is he's gonna get another revival, or he's gonna get pulled out of the water. And this show, from experience, it'll have a big cliffhanger and it'll be diffused in just a couple minutes. That's what it's done with, the whole guy coming into the bus situation, and with the whole, the family drama reunion thing. And there's probably another one. Now that I'm watching these more separately, I'm starting to... it's a better binge watch show. It's much better for binge watching, I would say. Because those cliffhangers don't really hold that well. But off topic, the teacher, Kenya, I don't believe was an accomplice, but he still could be. Because I still don't really trust Kenya. Like if it turns out, because he's skipping town, right? Because the teacher in Kenya had that one weird conversation. But the teacher's skipping town. At the very least, everyone's safe. As Satoru dies here, and it goes to someone else's perspective. Like maybe his mom suddenly gets a revival and goes back in time. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I have no idea. I'm very interested. This Thursday, episode 11. I don't know if I'm gonna wait till the week after that just so I can get the last two. I'm probably not gonna be able to. I have to see what's next. With all that being said, give this episode 4 out of 5. I like the teacher reveal in the end. You know, because we're all watching this weekly, so we're all thinking about it more than if we would if we binge watched it. That being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you on episode 11. Oh, I can't wait. Try to get some better lighting here. Oh my god. Erased episode 11. Didn't think any of this would happen. Okay, first off, we start off with that monologue by the teacher. He stepped up his game. Like, he's a full budget villain now. And then we got Satoru in a coma the entire episode. I mean, he's not in the coma, but he wakes up from it and he's reeling after that. Because I was always like, how is he going to get older? Now I know. He's going to be in a coma. I thought maybe he'll just relive his life, but now everyone will be old. And we see Kenya, we see Hitomi, they're both old. Hinazuki. My girl Kaya. She's an adult, and she's married, and has a kid, and oh my god, it's so fucking beautiful. Again, a lot of people shipped Satoru and Hinazuki, but, I'm just gonna set my tripod down. But in the end, you know, there's nothing there to point beyond, like, friendship, you know? It's, as much as that would be nice, I don't think it's needed. But Satoru, I do want to have a happier life than this, so we see him, you know, doing the whole walking thing. I thought that was great. We saw, just, you know, his mom rehabilitating him, and oh my god, love that. And then the teacher visits him again, and he's having a wonderful life. He's doing small-time politics and all this, and I assume he killed that one guy whose position he took. It's just so great. It's so mind-blowing. I'm so ready for the season finale because this episode, oh my god. But Hinazuki's alive. The mom is alive. We just have to stop the bad guy, and hopefully Satoru can get his life back in normal. It's probably too late to ship Hinazuki and Satoru, but I want to a little bit, but it's okay. Cause in the end she's happy. It's whatever. I just hope he doesn't get with Pizza Girl. And a very 5 out of 5. Never would have expected this. I want to know exactly what happened. Like, someone got him out of the car, but he was in a coma. What happened? With that being said, I'll see you guys on episode 12. Alright, Erased. Episode 12, we have reached the end! Great show. I love this show. Now that it's finished, we're starting to hear a lot of people's opinions. I was looking up a lot of videos, a lot of criticism out there for this show. There really is, but I still love it. I've heard the majority of the complaints and the problems with the show, and the majority of them I think are pretty legitimate. It's, we'll go into that. But none of them really stopped me from loving the show. I do think I loved it more when I was watching it, but I do that with a lot of shows like Death Note and stuff, where I'm like a couple episodes in, I'm like, I fucking love the fucking shit out of this show. And then by the end of the show, I'm like, I still love it, but, you know. So, episode 12, we get a big standoff between the teacher, Sensei, and Satoru. And Satoru, he is about to be pushed off of this rooftop, and I thought that was stupid, just the fact that he's gonna get tossed off a rooftop. But no, the teacher, he set up kind of this suicide death plan, and it worked very good. And then basically we kind of get the full confrontation. Basically in this timeline the teacher has changed. He's probably not the same kind of killer, and he's obviously really obsessed with Satoru because from this timeline all his killing is probably associated with Satoru, because instead of being this power hungry monster, he's this a monster who's like getting like knocked down every time, and even if he went on to kill afterwards, he was like, it's kind of like having that rival, you know? And again, this is kind of crammed in. Like, we learned about the teacher being the killer like at that only for like 2.5 episodes, so to make it seem like this big epic rivalry is a little much. But again, this has been leading up for 12 episodes, so in one way it's completely justified, in another it's very forced. But the teacher, you know, they made him a good character. This whole other side to him about, in the end he's like completely insane, right? And they fleshed him out. That intro with the hamsters in the last episode, phenomenal. If there was like a way to make me care about a fucking character in like 2 minutes, that would be it. So we have this big rooftop scene, and basically he finally lets him go, and then he's gonna kill himself. Satoru, you know, lives the whole. I guess he assumed he would take him to the roof, and there's this whole other thing. And the teacher gets arrested. The day is saved. He's going away for attempted murder. Not nearly as bad. I don't know if he's gonna get life for that, but who knows. You know, a little bit anticlimactic, but at the same time, I don't see it as a bad thing. I think for what they had, and, you know, the events leading up, this isn't bad. I think it's good. So then we get some of the conclusions. He saw Yuki there for a second, you know, kind of just like reintroduced himself. I guess they're cool. He's not in prison, and he doesn't look like a cokehead, so that's good. Although he kind of always does. So we get some more of the after credit scenes, you know, everyone doing good. He's friends with all his buddies from elementary school. They're the big emphasis on friendship. He becomes the manga artist. That's kind of just thrown in there. The whole manga thing is kind of a forced thing, I thought. Because now that we have the end, we can finally look back on it. Let's see. And then there was no Hinazuki in this episode. And to be honest, that's what the entire series was focused on. She should have been part of this episode more, because for the majority of the series we're fighting for Kaya, even though it's kind of, you know, a forced, hey, you gotta root for this little girl, and it's kind of like that protective thing, you know, a lot, Last of Us and like Walking Dead, like there's this little girl and we gotta protect her, and because that's a very easy story, but god damn it, it fucking works. It works here. So for all that, just for her to be kind of half-assed in this new storyline, I'm not a fan of that. But to go from there, the big final part is he sees the butterfly one more time, and from there, I don't know because he's wearing everything the same, and then what's her name pops up, the pizza girl, Irie or Ari, however you want to pronounce it. And for people who are shipping that, they probably are like, confirmed. To be honest, it's a friendship thing, so just their friendship being reunited is, you know, there, and the fact that, you know, her philosophy on believing was a big part of the series and a big metaphor for everything going on. So that was finally coming to full circle by them seeing each other again. But if you want to fucking ship them, you can ship them. I would like to believe that nothing happened. And, you know, they kind of leave it up in the air for both sides of the coin. Because he obviously can't go to Nazuki, which I'm okay with in the end. So that's the end. Did he actually go back in time? This is where it's a little bit unclear. I believe in the end the thing didn't go like the very obvious thing. That didn't happen. So that was either that butterfly just gives him everything he wants, or it was and he entered some kind of alternate timeline, or it just maybe skewered her somehow into going to meet him, or it was maybe saying goodbye and she just happened to show up. All of that is completely possible. And so I'm gonna give some final thoughts for the show. I thought it was a great show. Again, I take mysteries with a grain of salt. Like, as much as I loved the show when I was watching it, I had that reservation, like, okay, some stuff probably isn't gonna be coming full circle. Like Kenya as a character, he didn't come full circle because they kind of teased him they made him really smart and all this, but in the end, he's just a fucking guy, and he doesn't matter. And so, that I'm disappointed with, but in the end, those are the reservations I keep. But in the end, I thought it was a great show, a really great build-up, and, you know, the ending, and from the teacher on, I thought that was pretty good. I don't think it was phenomenal or anything, but it did make me care, those early episodes. A lot of the complaints, like everything's over dramatic, the teacher was obvious, you know, the very, how they enforce, this idea, like, that Kaya, they really want you to fucking feel for Kaya, and just, a lot of the complaints, there are more, trust me. I've been listening to them for a little while since I watched the end of the thing. In the end, I think it's a great show, and I really loved it. And I really like the characters. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my episode reviews for Erased. I'm hopefully this morning, in a couple hours here, when everything brightens up, I'm going to get my big review out for that series. Or at least I'll film it, and then go to work, and then edit it, and hopefully get it out this week, or in a couple days. God damn it. But yeah, Erased is done! Yes! I'm so happy. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. And with that, I leave you. I gotta remember my own ending phrase. With that, I leave you.